You don't like the puns?
No.
Why?
Because I think it's the way you say them.
We had a scene where...
Buddy.
Hello friends, welcome to Film Critic channel. We're going to look at the best movies in the world on this channel and criticize them, and we'll tell them their strengths. So if you'd like to be with us, substantive our channel from the bottom and follow our Instagram screw. The movie we're going to go to today is Jungle Cruise. I hope you like it. Jungle Cruise movie review. Surfing the Jungle with Dwayne Johnson. Jungle Cruise, despite all its negative and positive points and no new ideas, eventually becomes one of the most entertaining movies of these days.
Is doing a load of puns on the boat.
The rocks you see here in the river are sandstone, but some people just take them for granted.
And no acting was...
In the days when Disney is making live-action movies from its classic animations, it might be a little strange to hear about making movies from Disney amusement parks. But Disney has already had a brilliant track record of making live-action films from its amusement parks, the most famous of which is the Pirates of the Caribbean film series, among other things Haunted Mansion. Now Disney has gone on to find another amusement park, Jungle Cruise. For a while, the film Surfing the Jungle starring Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt has been screened in Disney Plus movie theaters and streaming services. Jungle Cruise follows the story of Frank, the captain of a boat in an amusement park who, along with Lily and his brother, goes on an adventure to find a magical tree with healing powers in which they must also encounter wild animals and their German rival. Follow along with Film Critic channel and Jungle Cruise movie review.
To turn it into a movie.
Why should I trust you?
I'm the only one that can get you there.
You're taken on this roller coaster, injected with thrill and suspense and humor.
Jungle Cruise is a mix of Pirates of the Caribbean, Indiana Jones and Jumanji movies.
What should we expect from Jungle Cruise? This is perhaps an important question that we should first ask ourselves about our expectation level of this live-action film. Obviously, if you're looking for a different Disney movie or an almost identical Pirates of the Caribbean experience, I can make you feel comfortable right now that you'll be quite disappointed to watch the movie. But if you're looking for a family film and adventure that entertains yourself and other family members for 2 hours, you've come up with the right address. If Jungle Cruise is to be described in a sentence, it can be described as a fun but very forgettable film that offers nothing new. To better understand that the film has no new ideas, I have to say that it's actually more a combination of Pirates of the Caribbean, Jumanji and Indiana Jones, which Disney has taken apart and used inside the film. Inspiring the film is no longer a mistake or a negative point, but in Jungle Cruise, we don't see inspiration from a film, but precisely the creators have very consciously used the elements and fictional parts of different films inside the film. Perhaps the most important part of that is the truth behind the story of Frank's character, which we will continue to tell about, and is actually the most important secret of the film, but by watching the film very quickly you can see the undeniable similarity of the film with the three films said.
Emily also, she's amazing, likes to give anything a go.
Don't go up there!
Not now, Frank! Lily is one of these characters who is so reckless that her action sequences are never slick.
Jungle Cruise, though it has good potential, has caught on to Disney's policy of becoming a family movie.
Emily Blunt's character in the film actually has the Indiana Jones verdict of the story, and the kind of mission and purpose behind the story rather than the German enemies of the film actually inspires the Indiana Jones films. A resemblance that is unlikely to be so coincidental, and a year before the premiere of Indiana Jones 5, Lucasfilm may have a better view of presenting a female version similar to Indiana Jones's, preventing and distancing it from presenting the purely female version of Indiana Jones.
Racing.
Emily Blunt's brother's character actually has the verdict of Jack Black's character in the events of Jumanji's film. Of course, the kind of dangers, as well as the kind of adventure of the film, resembles Dwayne Johnson's Jumanji films, and Disney apparently pursued three goals with a film that was more successful in Jumanji than other parts. Overall, the film has been able to present a fun and fascinating work with a combination of these three films, which, despite expectations, we see a very good story process and speed, and little time is wasted during the film. Even contrary to the expectation of the film, it has fascinating action scenes that are well implemented throughout the film. However, the film had good potential to find a more independent identity than merely a combination of a few other films, but Disney is finally aiming to turn the Jungle Cruise movie into a family and fun work to show why it's still successful in making such films. Of course, if we want to make a comparison, if the film Space Jam: A New Legacy has caught up in Warner Brothers' policy for honorary Zorky and promotional appearances, the Jungle Cruise movie has also caught on to Disney's policy of becoming a family movie. Although the film had a good opportunity to create scary and attractive spaces, it ultimately hasn't forgotten the side of caution and were completely on the side of a controlled film, and this has led us to end up with a disposable effect.
Stunts feel epic and sweeping and heart.
Price of a single movie ticket. You snooze, you lose, and you miss out on the cruise, which is bad news for yous.
Jack, what are you doing?
I'm telling everyone about our amazing cruise.
Yeah,
I gotta tell you, it's a movie, right? It's not real, and neither is the hat.
no.
Well, I got the hat from Props, and they said that I look very distinguished in it. And since I'm wearing it, that means that I'm the skipper now. So if you would just... I was just keeping this warm for you, and I'm very sorry.
Thank you. Okay, great. Join us for Disney's Jungle Cruise, the thrilling cinematic adventure of a lifetime. Here, come here, Cat. That's how you skip.
Dwayne Johnson plays the same game he played in his other movies.
Of course, we should not go through the beautiful environment and special effects of the film, which has made the film a pleasant and glazed work. But what did Jungle Cruise movie need to succeed? Disney has tried over the years to hide some of the problems of its live-action films by selecting famous actors, which we are witnessing here. On the one hand, we have Emily Blunt, who, although we don't see the same performance as A Quiet Place from her, becomes an important counterweight to the film's storyline and presents an acceptable and engaging game. On the other side, we have Dwayne Johnson, who, although he makes up a good couple with Blunt, ultimately plays the same game that we expect him to play and doesn't have exactly anything new to say like the film. In fact, Johnson, given his important role in the film, has not been able to present an attractive work as we expect, and even his repetitive humor goes on nerves many times, although ultimately he has good chemistry with Blunt during the film's events and cannot be denied. However, such a relationship is truly repetitive and perhaps a little disappointing. The interesting thing is that Jack Whitehall and Jesse Plemons present a far better and more engaging game than Johnson during the film, and even if the role of the two was greater throughout the film, we might have even had a better film, especially Plemons, who, although he played a very repetitive character, but his fascinating game has caused us to even get past this problem and enjoy his game. We'll take it. But why Johnson, even though he has played a role as usual for Nam, has not been able to shine this time? I will tell you why now.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for. The backside of water.
You could feel the excitement here.
It's beautiful. Their love for this film, it feels perfect.
It was amazing to see all my fans, and they were just
there were
going
hardly
crazy.
any of them.
There was really, truly. It was
Emily.
Emily, you look so beautiful. I was like, what about me? You know, it sounds cliche, but it's true. We're here because of the fans.
Welcome.
Dwayne Johnson's character in Jungle Cruise is the weaker version of Jack Sparrow. Dwayne Johnson's role in Jungle Cruise is exactly the same as Jack Sparrow's role in Pirates of the Caribbean, but it's much weaker version. In fact, the most important fictional twister is the film of Frank's character, who, like Jack Sparrow, has a spell and doesn't die. And his enemies actually have such a spell that now, like Davy Jones, they have become elements of nature, and the film has copied Pirates of the Caribbean more than we think.
It's as if Disney wouldn't hate to make another Pirates of the Caribbean in which Jack Sparrow finally reaches Elizabeth and we don't hear from Will Turner in the middle. Has Disney really decided to fulfill the wish of fans who sought to bring together Jack Sparrow and Elizabeth? It's not very unlikely, but Lily and Frank's relationship has been one of the most Zorro-y relationships in Disney movies, and Johnson can never create a complete and unforgettable character like Johnny Depp, delivering a very poor version of Jack Sparrow at best. Disney's template for the romantic part of the film Jungle Cruise appears to be the animations of the studio, during which the two characters fall in love with each other during their adventure, and even the end of it bears witness to this, but we are not news of the spirit and simplicity of the animated events. Along with a family film, the film has tried to present a romantic comedy, which turns the romantic part into an extra and boring part of the film that actually had no place in the film, and it was better to focus on the adventure and its riddles. Even in the comedy section, we see a frequent repetition of some of the pranks, especially by Dwayne Johnson, which practically bores the viewer, and perhaps there was more creativity in creating and using pranks than Johnson joked repeatedly with Emily Blunt's pants from the beginning to the end of the film. Jungle Cruise is a work that can entertain the viewer altogether, and it was actually better than I expected. Although the film could become a more original and independent film with a more independent identity rather than a mix of different films, it has finally been able to present an acceptable comedy and a rather fascinating adventure story that everyone in the family enjoys watching. Jungle Cruise also has interesting and good references from an era when there was less awareness, but still the film has been rejected in a transient way, and then makes the viewer forget the basic parts of the film and merely follow the adventure of Emily Blunt and Dwayne Johnson on Amazon. Finally, if you don't expect a work like Pirates of the Caribbean, Jungle Cruise can satisfy you.
Friends of this clip also finished. We hope you like this criticism and the necessary description of the beautiful Jungle Cruise movie. To support us, subscribe our page and tap the bell next to it. And also follow our Instagram page.